Hi, my name is Elizabeth Boaz and I'm 16 years old. Ever since I started singing 5 years ago, I've always wanted to make an album. But first, let me tell you about how we got here. My parents are both musicians and raised my sisters and I in a house of music, song, and harmony. I've been singing my whole life, but that's what every kid says. I started writing songs when I was 10 years old and began studying voice a year later. I got my first guitar when I was 9, but was completely heartbroken to find out that my hands would not be big enough to play my new instrument until 2 years later. When I turned 11, I told my mom I wanted to sing, and so the adventure began. From then on, it was open mics every week all around Sonoma County until I started performing at restaurants, festivals, fundraisers, you get the idea. The summer before my sophomore year of high school, I realized that I was out in my community performing at least once or twice a week, and that this was what I wanted to be doing for the rest of my life. I remember telling my dad that performing allowed me to connect with anybody, to share what I love, and to make anybody, myself included, feel alive. I continued performing for the next year, which puts us at last summer. That summer, I decided it was time to start an album, and yet another adventure began. Creating an album has always been an intangible dream, my first thoughts being cost, production, and intimidation. But last summer, when I told my dad that this was what I wanted to do, he told me, after all the work is put in, and after all the research is done, the cost will work out. So I threw myself into creating this album, not even sure if it would happen, but hoping that, like my dad said, it would work out. Starting at the beginning of last August, I began to demo all my songs, recording them at home and deciding how I wanted them to sound in the studio. By January, I had narrowed it down to 6 songs, and in February, you chose the title for the album. And suddenly, an EP album titled The Reason Why by Elizabeth Boaz was falling into place. And now, here we are, at the cost, one of my biggest fears. But after receiving an overwhelming number of votes for the album title, I realized that I have a larger community around me than I've ever had, and that every single one of you wants to help. So, I went to my dad and told him, "You're right, I think this will work out. There's no way that this album can be created without your donations, your support, and your generous encouragement. I need $3,000 to make this album. It sounds like a lot, believe me, but it's gonna be a lot less if everybody helps out. So please, go to my Indiegogo campaign and donate. Donate so that you can be a part of the process of my first album. Donate so that you can get all the fun rewards that come with the campaign. And donate so that you can be a part of something bigger than me and bigger than you, and something exciting. Whatever reason you have to support me, I'm so appreciative and thankful every day that you're here. This album just wouldn't be happening without you. So please, go donate and make this long-awaited dream into a physical CD."